2, 1, go. This is the final adventure of the Tetanus Tanker. It's gonna go up this hill, up to the top, and sit for 10, 20, 30 years, probably forever. So it's never gonna come back.
No, well.
It's never coming back.
And then we're gonna rebuild it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but the challenge isn't getting up there. We know we can get up the hill. The problem is that there's no fan or cooling system or coolant at all in it. There's a nice little hot side junction. So it overheats in about 2 minutes, and then the engine runs really rough and it stalls out, and it takes a while to cool down to start.
So this is a race.
So it's a race. It's a race to get to the top.
To see if we can get to the top before it dies.
In about 2 minutes. So
I can do that.
it's going to be interesting. And then we have a little thing to close off the intake, and the exhaust is already closed off, keep all the critters out.
That way we can rebuild it.
And rebuild it in 10 to 20 years. Maybe, probably not, probably never. Probably trees down and shit that it's not going to get past, but it's going pretty good so far. Not even a challenge. No, I put 5 new ones sitting there next to the other one. They were putting these smaller wheels on because I can use these ags on something else. I'm sure I'll find something else to use them on. Down here was that's the hill it came up, which was disappointingly easy. This thing's just
not good footage because that was just too easy.
Yeah, it went right past me. I expected it to stall and coast back a couple times.
But I think we'll do all right with it.
But while he's going over this, we'll check out some of these beautiful welds. We both learned how to weld by making this. You can see the lift kit is obviously professionally built, which somehow has held up very well. This thing gets thrashed and it just runs fine. Obviously a couple oil tanks make up a good part of the body. The door is stuck shut now, so I can't really get in there. The fuel tank is an old propane tank with the original fuel sending unit, fuel pump actually, and the filler just welded onto it. But the hood does actually tilt forwards. It's a fully functional oil tank. A nice little antenna. The radio works, heat works. The AC even worked up until this thing was driven into a pillar.
Who did that?
Some maniac. I don't know why that door's stuck.
An oil tank before?
Oh, that door's stuck because how'd you get out of that door?
Huh?
When you got pinched between the trees, that must have been how it got stuck.
See, you gotta pull the handle on the inside.
Most of these welds held up really well, except the roof rack. Those welds, they did break. Used to have a roof rack that went all the way up and then came down into the factory fenders.
I think it'll work. I think we're fine, really. We shouldn't have any problems. We can kill it.
I mean, it doesn't have to go far to die. This is that. Almost fires right up.
Yeah, it's basically
Give her a stomp. No, well, I guess I'm not going to climb through the window. You go ahead. You go ahead and see what it does. Through the woods, I guess. I don't know. Not that way. I can't zoom in for some reason. Terrifying machine. Just terrifying. All right, I'm gonna get in. Don't sit on the wrench. Beached.
Yeah, we are beached.
I guess we found a final resting place.
It's kind of leaning back.
Yeah.
That was short-lived.
We should have just took the roof off. I don't know why we ever had a roof on it. Wasn't that the first thing we were going to do with this back when it was a Blazer, is chop it?
Pretty sure. Oh man, you know what?
She is,
It's funny how I couldn't see that log.
it is beyond beached. This is the end. Well, at least it's up off the ground. You know, the frame's not going to rust.
That's a very good point. See, I did this to help us.
Gonna get a quick shot of under the hood while we seal up the intake, so you can see what's powering this thing of beauty. Little 4.3 Chevy, 5-speed standard, and got the ABS zip tied up. Oh, it was. I guess it's broke now.
What?
It's still got the oil filter bypass here. When that oil filter got crushed after driving it into a tree. Nice. Perfect. It's right back where it was. One of the many times.
Who
There's
did that?
Rear brake line welded, pinched and welded, because there are no rear brake lines anymore.
You know what? You don't need rear brakes. 70% of your braking is from the front. So
That's right. So that's why we weren't worried about it. Just cut it, done. So we're gonna take the intake off and
I'm getting emotional.
put that little cap on there so water and critters stay out, and come back in 30 years. Probably not.
I'm getting emotional. I don't want to get rid of it.
So this homemade lift kit, which is really just tack welded in a couple places, tack welded to the old shackle mounts, held up, but the leaf spring snapped. The factory hardly even rusted leaf spring snapped.
Just because our craftsmanship is far superior to Chevrolet's.
And this did not. This, which is constantly has a twisting force on it, did not break. That broke. So that says something about the welds anyway. Goodbye, Tetanus Tanker. Goodbye forever.
Well, once the tree rots out, we can get this out.
Yeah, probably about 10 years. We'll come back and get it running. Probably not though.